Hey everybody, it's Bob Phibbs, the retail doc. I'm live and it's the day before Valentine's Day, so I thought I would show off my Valentine's glasses. That's right. Elton John's not the only one that has cool glasses. Yeah, I use these for training because a lot of times when you're training, you're trying to come up with ways to get people to get out of their comfort zone in a fun way. And this always seems to work. So there they are, but I can't really read your questions, so I'm going to turn them off. So do me a favor, Elton lives. That's exactly right, Julie. So do me a favor, let me know where you're joining in from and go through and type in, let me know where you're joining me from and what you sell. That would be great. And by the way, it's never too early to ask you to say yes to the retail doc by either applauding if you're on LinkedIn, or if you're on Facebook, you can give me hearts or all that kind of stuff, because the algorithm only works if people are engaged, which is really interesting because yesterday I normally put up just a picture saying, hey, I'm going live. I need my 5 questions. I decided, all right, I'll take a picture. I use iStock and they have a new version that says make a video. So I'm like, okay, I'll make a video. So I did it thinking, all right, this will get me more likes, right? Do you know that after almost 12 hours, I had only 30 views? Facebook does not like that option. And then I tried to boost it and then it just says in review. So then I posted a little just text, same thing. And I think I got 28 views, and yet I got questions. I have plenty of questions today, but I was so frustrated because the algorithm just wasn't showing it to anybody. And then it's waiting so long in review that the point of paying for it got to be pointless. So I had to turn it off when I got up this morning. But luckily for all of you, I have questions. More importantly, luckily for me, I have questions. Otherwise, I'm just standing up here with, sitting here with sock puppets or something. So there you go. All right. So we've got Julie from Elmira down in Florida. I hate you. Okay. Katie in Florida. Sewing machines. Great. David. Hey, glad you're there. Robert in St. Peters, Missouri. Got olive oil and hot sauce. Perfect. Margaret, it is a frosty morning. We had a great day yesterday. It was 50 degrees in upstate. All the ice was melting. Had a little river going down the side of the house from all of the ice, and then it goes back for a couple of days. It's cold, but the end is near, which always feels great. And Joanne, glad you're here. Connie, glad you're here from Minnesota, selling shoes, boots, and sneakers. I love that. That's great. David, sock puppets. I will work on the sock puppets. I'm telling you, one of these days I'm going to do it. So happy Super Bowl Sunday. And by the way, some people say, I never know when you're going to go live. Well, then just like my account, like the retail doc, and ask for notifications, and you will know, because I always have to put a notification up at least a half hour before I go live, so that obviously you can plan for it, but more importantly, that makes me commit to it. And so you'll get that first, and then you'll be able to follow me. So just so you've got that. Joseph, glad you're here from Lititz, Pennsylvania. That's a hard one to write, to say fast. And again, through the rest of it, you can still keep commenting and liking. That's always important, because then I know, hey, Alex, glad you're here this morning from Washington. So, I was in downtown Los Angeles this last week. And let's see if I can show this quickly. And I'm there with my buddy, Tony Drockton. He is the owner of Hammett Handbags, soon to be the #1 handbag luxury brand in America. They're working on it. They're part of going public. We were just kidding around, having some good fun with it. And we stopped in at this restaurant called Corte Verde. It's in the new Proper Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. And so we sit down at the table. I don't think you need all that much of us together. If I can probably make that a little bit smaller. There we go. And so we sit down at the table, and the waiter comes over and he goes, oh, just to let you know, the lights, the power's out. You can see by the traffic signals. And so you won't be able to get anything unless it's cold. Sorry about that. And Tony just says, well, why couldn't we just assume that the power will come back on and we'll be fine and you could get our drinks? Why do you just look at it that way? And the guy laughs. He goes, I don't know. So he leaves, he comes back with our drinks, and sure enough, he puts them down, and the power comes back on. And he's like, wow. And I said, well, you always have to have hope. We had a great lunch, and it was really phenomenal. And that was great. My point to you is that we are living in the language of disappointment. I have a whole new blog I'm writing. It's like 2,000 words. It's a big blog next week about this whole idea of leading with fear. Seems to be what we do, right? So you go into the store Maybe you're going to buy furniture, and the first thing the guy or gal says to you is, okay, well, we can't do any special orders and everything is taking 6 to 10 months. So as you look around, just know it's going to take a while. It just deflates the entire thing. Or I'm also going to be sharing a lot of stories about how people basically made their lives miserable because of what they're doing to trip up the customer's excitement. So I'll be unpacking that next week. So look for that. But that's what I'm thinking about this week, and how many retailers, because they're not training their employees and they don't see it, they don't realize that you have destroyed empathy from one person to another. And that really plays out when something gets dicey, right? There's something that goes wrong, that a refund that wasn't done right, a return, a problem with it, or we are all go, instead of, we used to go, we'd get mad from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? You'd start off, and then kind of like they used to say in science class, boiling a frog, it goes all the way until finally they can't take it anymore. It's gradually turned up. That's not the way we are. It is on and off. Outrages, either this is great, it's fine, or, oh my gosh, I hate you. And that can be called out like that by an unthinking employee. Selling is nothing more than really understanding psychology. So many people do it so poorly because they don't understand what you say directly influences that person standing in front of you, for better or worse. And if you just want to be that, oh, hi, let me know if you have anything. If you need any questions, I'll be over here. You have a budget? Need anything else? If you're that disengaged, you're not going to be ready when somebody does go from 0 to 10, and you won't even realize it happened. And then you're going to say, whose fault is it? Those damn customers. Instead of saying, well, what did you just say? How did you say it? What was the tone? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm perfect. If that's the attitude, you know what? I'm not coming back. And anyone else is not coming back. And the next level is, where am I going? You got it. I'm going right to social media. So that's what I'm going to be talking about next week. You'll see it in the newsletter. It's a big post. It's very, I'm looking forward to it. And Katie, thank you very much. Let's just call that out and show that. To get live in the video notifications when I'm live, click the 3 dots, choose turn on live notifications. You're the best, Katie. Thank you so much. Julie, yes, we are living in the language of disappointment. We start off, I don't think I put this in the blog, so I'll share this story. So it's Christmas time, and a friend of ours talks to, some friends, and then they come back to relay what this half-hour conversation was, and just leads with, her dog got out, the neighbor's dog got out, the neighbor's dog is vicious, attacked hers, had to go to the vet, I'll call the cops. This went on and on and on. And I said, did anything nice happen at Christmas? She's like, oh, well, yeah. But we lead with that because that's what we're being, not distracted, but that's what we're being called to do, because we just came out of a crappy last 2 or 3 years. And we're so afraid of everything. We talk in that language of fear, and then we convey it to customers and wonder why we don't close more sales. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that. So just plan on that. We're looking forward to it too. Well, that's good to hear. So let's get to your questions. It's always interesting to see what you're coming up with. By the way, if you're in ICFA, I am talking keynote on Wednesday morning in sunny Orlando. I hope it's more than 30 degrees, which it was the last time I was in Florida was in 2019. And it seemed like every time I went to Florida, it was cold. So I'm hoping it's going to be nice and warm for me in Orlando. And that's going to be talking about how to get the sale, not just the order. So there you go. All right. Marlene says, I spend an immense amount of time caring for our social media platform, plus Google, etc. I must hire either a professional company or to take it over, hire an in-store digital employee, or possible college intern. What do you feel is the best besides the price of each? When I have had others do it, by the time I gave them the info and photo, it was just easier to do it myself. How is the break made, and yet the right info is being sent? So Marlene, social media is great, and don't get me wrong, it is a free access for people to be able to get in front of customers really well. But I always believe you get what you pay for. I would not give this to an intern. If you really think that your sales are coming in from Facebook and Instagram, I would consider having a professional company do it. But just having someone do your social media misses the point, because You can easily be selling dog to dog foods. You can be selling dog food to dogs. They'll eat it up. Yeah, great. This is great. This is great. Except that's free. They're not going to pay you anything. What you want to be doing is concentrating only on the people selling dog food to the dog owners. You want people who are actually going to buy it. And that's really hard to do. And it's very sophisticated in a lot of ways. So, I don't have anyone handling my social media. I still do my own, but I do have my assistant who helps me post it and get it up into the system. But make no mistake, even some of the best brands are starting to admit, their actual ability to convert into sales is very low. So I think it's easy to get trapped in social media and say you're doing everything and you need to do all of this stuff. But I would encourage you to either raise your prices or do some way to just give a 6-month account to somebody, not to somebody free, not to a friend. Go to a local person or find them. Make sure that ask to see 3 examples of campaigns you've done for someone else that's similar to me, and let me see what their ROI was. That's just really important. So I hope that helps. I'll talk about a little bit more about that also in a minute. Rose says, would love to know how I can take my retail business to the next level in 2022. Well, you can always rewatch this, by the way, but I just, there were so many questions this morning. I didn't have time to prepare my answers in a lot. So very quickly, get a goal and then commit to it 100%. Not I'd like to do this. I'm going to do this. If it means I'm working every weekend, if it means I'm going to be staying up nights, if it means I'm going to spend an extra 20 grand, whatever it's going to be, come up with a goal and commit to it. I'd like to doesn't make it happen. Then ask better questions of yourself. What if I? They all start with what? What if? What can? What if? What can? Those are the next. And then the ones that follow that are the how can we that gets you to that part. And then track and measure everything that you are doing and always be hiring and always be training. And please stop saying it's hard to get employees. It's always been hard to get employees. Please say that all the good ones have jobs. That's always been the case. Please give yourself freedom to let go of the excuses that hold you back. Oh, I'd be really successful, but I don't have enough merchandise. I'd really be successful if I had more employees. Yeah, well, guess what, sunshine? You got what you got. So let's make it work or get the hell out of the game. But staying in the middle and saying how awful it is to be you doesn't bring employees in, doesn't bring customers in. In fact, it does the opposite. Not saying you're doing that, Rose, but that's a broader lesson to, I think, everybody. Because again, going back to the language of disappointment, if that's how you start your day, there's no way you're going to make someone else's day because you can't envision it. Somebody else coming in, like when Tony and I go places, people are like, why are you guys so happy? Why not? It's a choice. And I've said this for 100 years. Use your choice muscle. It's up to you. It's not me. I can't motivate you. That's the funny thing about motivational speakers. People think, oh, Bob, you'll motivate me. No, I can hold up a carrot and say, this works. Do you want this? You don't like carrots? You're going to sit and say, I really like kale. Do you have kale? It's like, no, it's not up about me. It's you. So that very first part, I encourage all of you to say is set a goal, 100%, do or die. I'm going to do it. The person who's in a terrible accident and they can't walk again and starts hearing people say, oh, you'll never walk again. We hear those stories all the time. And then someone says inwardly, they go, by damn, I am going to walk again. What's the difference? You either believe you can or you believe you can't. And if you hang out with people that say you can't, like in a lot of your groups that a lot of you people belong to, and you let that crap come into your ears, you know what? You're going to be as tasteless and boring and bland as they are. And more importantly, bitter. And bitter doesn't sell. That's all I care about. That's all I care about. Are you going to make enough money to live the life you want and not settle for the scraps that you get because you get in your way of making a sale? Does that make sense? Anybody? Does that, yeah? Yes? No? Yes? Type in. Let me know you're there. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some yeses. Give me some these, all of that stuff. I have all my toys with me today. All right. Again, I'm not here to be your best friend. I'm here to tell you what other people won't. And most of your friends will tell you, you're right. It sucks to be you. Poor retailers. Oh, it's awful. Don't settle for scraps. There you go, Cindy. All right. Teresa says the topic of inflation is all in the news. It's all in our wallets. Are you kidding me? How do you see that affecting retail, or how should retailers address or handle it? It's real simple. Amazon and Netflix raised their prices. And do you think anyone gave a damn? No. Raise prices as needed. Stop apologizing and stop mentioning it. Whatever it is, you raise the prices and do it. There's a whole mindset a lot of you may have. You bought 8 of these widgets. You're down to 3. You place an order. The price has gone up $5. You will not reprice this because you feel that's a fraud. Well, good for you. But most other retailers would reprice this because they realize when they go to market the next time, they're going to have to pay more for this. And if you think that retail is a game of sham and you're taking advantage of people, again, you shouldn't be in it because your mindset already says, I'm a fraud, I'm a failure, I'm paying $10 for this thing, and I know how much it costs. Who cares? I walk in here and I love it, and I'm like, what does this thing do?
Way to go.
I love this thing. I don't care if it's $50. I love this thing. But you, purist, but I paid 10. I shouldn't charge more than 20 or 25. Okay, well, great, you win. But if you want to be in business, you're realizing that I've got to mark stuff up and I've got to raise prices. And start off with the things you sell the most. You don't have to raise everything, but one of the easiest ways is to start repricing your merchandise, or go to a entirely digital platform where you change it in the register and you don't have to worry about changing shelf tags, which is really where we're going. Jennifer says, with that being said, how do you respond when customers say you're not open enough hours? We hear that a lot, but we don't have employees and they're open all we can be. Great. You're not open enough hours. And you say, yeah, I feel the exact agree with them. Their objection becomes what you say to them. You're right. We aren't. And what we're doing is we're opening as enough hours that meets 90% of our customers. We also have an online store, which you'll be able to shop at any time, or you can send me an email in a number of ways. But our goal is to maintain our standards and be in business and still live the life that we want. And I hope you can support that. And I know a number of you have ended up having to either close one day or limit hours, and consider what you can do. But don't just let that go. Just be able to say, all right, this is what we're doing. All right. I don't even know how to say your name, Limpopo. I have a small pet food store. People don't want to buy from me. They prefer to buy from a nearby grocery center. How their prices are higher, how their price higher than mine. Well, why do they want to buy from you? And how do you possibly know that? No one walks into your store and says, hi, I'd like to buy this from you, but I'm going to go buy more at the expensive store. They don't do that. You're assuming, you're making a lot of assumptions here, my friend. The bigger issue is, why are they not raving about buying it from you if it's cheaper? That something doesn't line up. So you're going to have to look at I think you have to look at your own self-image and what you're doing and what you're bringing to the table more than your customers. All right. They come to my store when they don't find what they're looking for there. When the shopper center brings back what they're looking for, they go back to them. I don't know what I feel like they don't. Yeah, well, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't like you. So again, that's probably a bigger discussion than I can possibly have on Facebook. I would suggest you get a copy of my book. There's not many left. Most of you had to buy it now digitally. That will certainly give you some insights on what it's going to take for you to get your store in line, but that's not going to be an easy task. All right, Cindy says, what's the best way to get foot traffic? Storefront is on main thoroughfare, needs some inspiration to get people to stop and shop. Well, the number one way, Cindy, is deliver an exceptional experience, not an experience, not hi, can I help you find something? Let me know if you anything. I'm going to be over here. You have to deliver an exceptional experience, which means you have to use SalesRx online training system and get a platform underneath you. We had one of our customers explain that they had a 200% increase last year, and they're not in one of the burgeoning markets like sewing and some of the other things. And what did it come down to? Being absolutely convinced that if they aren't raving about me, then I have work to do. And I suggest you all go and look at your Google reviews and Yelp reviews and Facebook reviews and take a look at what people are saying about you. And if they're not raving about you and actually calling out a specific employee about how great it is, then you got work to do. You don't invite them. The example I used to use, because I have been in this business 30 years, the example I used to use when I was first starting out was the Mary Tyler Moore Show. And Mary was, pretty and successful, and she had a lot of friends, and she would invite people to her parties, and people would go, but they knew they were horrible parties. Well, it's kind of the same thing. A lot of people put a lot of money in marketing, and then they wonder why people don't necessarily convert. It's because you haven't fixed the experience it feels like being in your store. You don't invite them to a party that's no good. And then you look at how your crew is actually doing. You get the number of items up instead of 1.1 or something like that. You make sure that it's at the 2 mark or more. And then you create killer windows that have 3 colors and curated, and I can see inside. There's an awful lot to it. It's not that easy. Oh, Michelle, thank you so much. I have that book. What does John say here? Maintaining margin is extremely important. The second key thought is to always look at the perceived value of products. Just as Bob loves that silly sounds. Okay. I never get tired of this, John. I never get tired of this. And you know what? Oddly enough, they never made it again. This is like 1988. I have to put batteries in it every now and then. So yes, absolutely. Tammy's asking me, tell us more about customer service as a key component. Still talking about this. Tammy, it's really simple. People who feel they matter buy more. And if you don't have a system underneath you, like SalesRx online retail sales training program, then you're probably winging it and you're probably doing what comes natural, or you sell to your regulars. Meanwhile, forgetting the most important person is the newbie who has never been in there. And let's face it, there's a lot of interest, people coming back into brick and mortar stores, hoping it's going to be normal, and it isn't. So the way that we make customer service is to make that person the most important person we're talking about. But again, you know what? I'll bet 90% of you either won't buy SalesRx, or you're afraid of it, or you think that you don't need it. And the reality is that even if you personally think you know how it is, I can guarantee you your crew doesn't, because they haven't seen it modeled in most places. Most young people think customer service is I got my Starbucks in 20 seconds because they ordered it on their app. And you know what? That's a version of customer service, but it's also devoid of people. We're in the people business. We're in the middle of the great human reconnection, and retail is leading that charge. Unless you have a system that brings them through the 5 stages of how we buy, then more than likely you're just hoping someone's going to walk in on that one day and say, hi, do you guys have heart sunglasses? Yeah, and make another appearance in case you didn't see me at the beginning. Oh, we have it right over here. But if not, if I came in for these sunglasses, you're not even thinking that maybe he might buy 2 because there's another reason. Because all we heard him say was, I'm looking for a pair of dark sunglasses. So we didn't go through and actually spend some time and consider, what if they got 2 or 3? Because that'd be pushy. And then we have to talk again about what's your own self-image in here. Because when you feel like you're phony and you're pushy, more than likely you aren't in the customer's shoes, because customers are ready to give money, ready to shop. They still have a ton of money in the bank. Omnicrom, whatever the hell it's called, is going away. Yeah, I get it. There's all kinds of news. Give me a break. Leave the news alone. All right. So then I'm one thing to take from that, Tammy. People who feel they matter buy more, and those who don't walk. That's all that matters, because retail is a game of getting the yes. If you like what I have to say with that, give me some thumbs up. Give me a love. Give me a like. Give me whatever that is on your platform. I'd appreciate it. There's an awful lot of you still hanging with me. I appreciate that. That's pretty funny. Julie, Keystone, my God, do people still do that? Keystone's a fast way to going out of business sale. That's right. You need whatever you can get. That's a very good point. All right. Anika, what are your tips for merchandising a very small shop, 200 square feet? Okay. So you actually sent me a picture here, which I think I can put up here. Sweet. So you were asking me for tips for merchandising. You say you have a shop in East Nashville, and we sell locally made lingerie produced by us here in Nashville and other women's accessories. The main things to think about, there's a lot you could unpack. And again, if you go onto retaildoc.com and you go to Retail 101, you'll see at the top, I have a whole thing on visual merchandising you can read. It's very long, and it unpacks a lot of my philosophy, the way I look at how it. But the simple thing is, have a theme, get a color story, and signage. So in your picture you have here, I'm not sure what that back wall is supposed to look like. And again, all I can do is an armchair quick run over with this, and it's a little hard to see, but white underwear on a white mannequin is not what I would do with a little red bandana. You got a lot of stuff on that middle table. I'm not sure what it is. It's too small. I would say pick one item. I would have picked the red, actually, you have there on the right, especially with Valentine's, and put that in the front. I would have it be what is the complete outfit? So I guess it's a bra and panties, but what else do you have that makes a complete outfit that goes with that? Maybe it's a robe or something that you could have hanging to give it a little, off the side, and it could kind of go down a little bit. That might be interesting, but it's a lot of white space. It's a lot of white space, and I don't get a sense that this is as personal a experience as you want me to believe. So, Lululemon does it well, taking pictures of people who they actually use their products might be one way to do it. Another way would be to just look at the three strongest colors in retail are red, white, and black. I don't see any black in here. This looks like a Valentine's store. I wouldn't put black on that back wall, but that might be maybe that's the problem, that my eye is drawn to that background instead of to the mannequins and to the walls. And I don't see much signage. So I see a little thing over there on the right, but those would be the ones I would think of as your color story, your signage, and your theme. So I hope that helps. John, what are you telling me? Your people statement is very true. I've started that habit of introducing myself by name in the store, greeting people enter. It really makes browsers feel important. Well, yeah, because again, so many of you go through and you see a need. I came in and I said, do you have, I always go back to this. Do you have this blue square? Instantly, you start pitching the blue square instead of taking a step back and saying, I've got to bond with this person. Because instantly you go into product, I think you miss the bigger experience. Okay. All right. Cherish says, what are your tips for shifting focus to retail in a small business where most guests are coming in for services like massage and facials and acupuncture? We're mostly a service-driven business, but have a small retail store that most walk past eager to get to their appointment. Yeah. So Cherish, you're not unlike, I've worked with Paul Mitchell and other brands with hair care and spas, several spas around the world. The big thing is you have to have a system, you have to have a process. So if I'm going in for acupuncture, when I'm getting the service, somebody should be mentioning something that they can take home and do at home. Or if I'm getting a massage, you're going to give me, for an extra $5, we could do it with lavender, or we could do it with cinnamon oil, or we could just do it with almond oil. And then when you leave, give them prescription. Here is the 1, 2, and 3 things you should take home. Put it in a basket, bring it up to the counter. But if you don't mention it in the treatment, they'll never do it. So you have some work to do. Hope that helps. Don, I feel like our first point of contact with a lot of our customers is through social media. For us, mainly Facebook or Instagram. Any best practices or tips to make sure we provide value and incentive to come back to our brick and mortar store? I'm assuming you're talking about, and I clipped off the bottom edge of your comment. A lot of people think that loyalty programs are the way to get people. I don't think that's it. I think that you're telling me you get a lot of your customers through social media. Good for you. But if you're getting them, that means they come in. The value of the brick and mortar store is you're doing a store tour so that they understand everything you have, not just they saw this funny TikTok video where somebody balanced this on their nose and then gave it to the cat and they danced together with it, right? It's ultimately over making sure that the number one goal is for them to come back. So you would want to get their contact information, find a way to give them like 3 tips for how to use it, to do something else rather than thinking about incentives. I don't believe in buying people to come back. That's just not me. From having done it for some of the world's brands, it just doesn't work. I can tell you, it doesn't pencil out. Top fan Tim Paul out in Chicago has a question. Latest advice for live video customer engagement is using Reels. Reels is a new thing on Instagram. I think is it also on Facebook under I forget what it's called there, but the number one way is you take your old stories or posts, your best performing, and then you can recreate the best of them in Reels. I think that's good. Make sure you add captions. And the other thing I would say to everybody is get Shopify Plus or BigCommerce and connect anything that you're able to do in your Facebook page or your Instagram page so that someone can shop it immediately. It does all the back end of how it connects to the website and all that other stuff. So I would suggest that as well. I got a question there, but I'm not going to have time for it. Kristen says, in January, our transaction counts were down 52. When I first read this, I thought it was 52%. They were just down 52. So you're down like 2 a day. Yet your average transaction was up over $100. I don't know if it's up $100 or it went up over $100. We missed budget last month and we're trending flat for this month. Any advance on getting back the foot traffic in our store? Michelle, before I go to that, Michelle, Shopify Plus has the ability to connect a lot more things behind it than just Shopify. And not a paid influence for Shopify. You can find out, Google it, and all that kind of stuff. All right. Well, I thought I would share this with you, and this is for all of you, so you can get out your phones, because I would suggest you take a picture of this. You ask for referrals. People have forgotten how to do this, so this would be one way you would do it. And I would make a subject line just "Good morning." That's all the subject line is. So it reads, "Hi, first name. I hope the new year started well for you and your loved ones are happy and healthy. I think you could still get away with this in February. Might be a little hard in March, but I'd still start off with this. Hoping I ask a favor. Is there one person in your network who you know is open or actively looking for new ideas too?" So you're going to come up with 3 things in your store that you're going to suggest. So these are just random things from stores that just came up before we came on. Update their wardrobe from Zoom to fabulous, put in a new floor, switch out an old toy for a new one, and who you'd be comfortable introducing me to by email. Thank you so much in advance. Look forward to the introduction. Simple. Most people forget the goal is once somebody said yes and they're happy with you, it's much easier to get them to return. That's number one. But number two is they know people who you should know. So let's say you only got 10 of these. If you just sent these out, you know, let's say 10 every week, that's a huge difference. And more importantly, you're also getting back in front of your customer in an easy way. Doesn't have a discount, doesn't have an offer. That's it. So that would be my suggestion for you. If you're looking to get foot traffic, I want to get foot traffic from people. Again, I want to go back to the uh, dog owners who are actually buying the food. I don't want to just be doing more content, more content, more content that doesn't convert. Because the reality is, for most of us, and I've noticed it the same for me, the amount of effort I used to put into Facebook just didn't pencil out as a return for me on investment. And LinkedIn is certainly better for me, and YouTube is great as well, because people always tell me, "I've been watching you for years on, Facebook or LinkedIn or or YouTube." But at some point, there's only one of us. And somebody else, I missed your question. I just realized. Where is your question? Randy said, "Any advice for a one-person shop? Hire somebody." One person cannot do the work of 2 people. You can't be 2 people. You can be super busy and hate your job and think you're doing a great job, but at the end of the day, you're going to need to hire someone. And this means for all of you, you never stop hiring. You don't hire till you get to a certain point, because at that point, somebody leaves and now you're desperate. You're always hiring, and then you can hold people accountable. I did a question this week on Facebook. Since the pandemic, have you let more things slide with your employees? And the emphatic uh, reply to everybody was yes, hell yes, that kind of thing. Well, if you can't hold them accountable, how the hell are you going to train them? And more importantly, how are you going to deliver an exceptional experience if you're afraid of your own employees? So, did you like what I had to say today? That we've come to the end of my time. Type in one thing you got out of it. Just type in one thing. This is a very long live. If What's one thing you got out of hearing me today? I know an awful lot of you are with us today, so type it in there. What's one thing you got out of being live with me here on the Retail Doc? And even if you're watching it on the replay, what's one thing you got out today? Because here's the thing: if you don't charge the synapses in your head to make a connection, it's in one ear and out to the ear, and it's kind of like, nice to know. I don't have to do anything with it. What's one thing that you can do? What's one thing you've did? Hey, Chelly, welcome back. Referrals, absolutely. That would be perfect for you with CSA and some of the other ones that you do. Absolutely. Tim, yes, staff involvement spreads so much further. Actually, good. Christian, change the price to gain better profit. Absolutely. Good. What else? Come on. Don't be afraid. Joe, choose positivity for clients to have a great experience. Absolutely. I got out that I should work on how I look. There you go. Choose happiness. Right. Jennifer, work harder on the customer experience. Right. Your referral request is a great idea, Julie. Excellent. Donna said a definable goal. Absolutely. And then be absolutely committed and focused. This is what I'm going to do. Come hell or high water, this is what I'm going to do. I bought my first house when I was 23. I read a book by Zig Ziglar called See You at the Top. And in it, he said, come up with a goal that scares you, but will get you up every morning to do it. And when it happened, I was elated. And then you start to think of, well, what's something else that will get me motivated? And then you start asking those what questions. What if I? What can I? What? Instead of going back to the answer that call of the past. Remember that time when you were in high school and you were totally embarrassed? Would you shut the hell up? What if I did this instead? Keep getting our Shopify ready to go live. Good. Customer experience is the key. Set a definable goal. Well, you're good. I appreciate you spending the time. You're the heroes out there doing it every day. I'm just doing my part to make sure that you stay focused on it's only about who? That customer standing in front of you. And you know what? You get a chance every single day to start anew. I'm Bob Phibbs, the Retail Doc. Thanks for joining me.